we're coming to you live from the Pegasus Hotel here in Georgetown, Guyana, at the Capital Markets Conference in Guyana. And we have with us none other than Finance Minister Ashni Singh. Of course, he'll be talking to us after a wonderful presentation, Minister. Welcome to the Let's Talk Stocks.
Thank you, Neilson. Thank you very much.
I almost welcomed you to Guyana. Minister,
well, let me welcome you to Guyana.
Thank you very much. I was very impressed with your presentation this morning. You took the investors and the attendees at the conference through the history of Guyana, a brief history of Guyana and its resurgence as a major player, leading economy in not just the region, but one of the top growing economy in the world. Talk to me about how that feels to you as Finance Minister of Guyana at a time such as this.
No, absolutely. So let me first of all say that it really is an incredibly exciting time for us in Guyana. As I said in the conference just a few minutes ago, we've been working very hard for a very long time to make Guyana an attractive place to do business, for international companies to do, and regional companies to do business, and to see higher levels of private capital, both foreign and domestic, mobilized for private investment projects. And a lot of that work predated the discovery of oil, as I mentioned. But what the discovery of oil has enabled us to do is it has enabled us to do a lot more, to do it better, and to do it more quickly. And so what you're witnessing now in Guyana is really an astronomical rate of economic growth, expansion in every single sector at rates that would be considered extraordinary by any standard. And that in turn it's driven by the rapid influx of investment, the rapid expansion in demand, etc., but it creates opportunities also for even more investment. Mm-hmm. And so we're delighted at the hosting of the conference in Guyana. We're delighted with the interest that we've seen Jamaican companies shown in Guyana and in doing business in Guyana. Guyana is very much open for business, and we're very much also a part of the CARICOM. We are very proudly the seat of the CARICOM Secretariat. We're a founding member of CARICOM, and so we're delighted at the presence of so many of our Jamaican brothers and sisters in Guyana for this conference, but more broadly in Guyana, seeking out partnerships and seeking out business and investment opportunities.
Minister, the conference is sold out. I'm so impressed that, and it's not just Guyanese investors, but investors from across the region, Jamaica, Trinidad, all the countries of Eastern Caribbean. Yeah. They are here to hear from you and to look at opportunities here in Guyana. You spoke about a growth rate of over 11% in the non-oil and gas sector. Now that outstrips the regular growth for most countries altogether. Talk to me about that non-oil and gas sector and how important that growth is.
Neilson, I'm very glad, in fact, that you've zeroed in on that particular point that I made, because it's something that's very important to us too. We want to have a competitive non-oil economy for the long term. Now, what does that non-oil economy comprise? First of all, Guyana has, outside of oil and gas,
yes,
Guyana also has a significant non-oil extractive industry, subsector. So Guyana is a producer of gold.
Yes.
We are a producer of bauxite. Jamaica, of course, knows bauxite very well. We are a producer. We have some other minerals too, manganese and other minerals. Mm-hmm. So there are what I call non-oil extractives, particularly gold and bauxite. Those are the two big minerals that we extract. Guyana also has a large and rapidly growing agriculture sector. So as you know, we have vast amounts of arable land, vast quantities of freshwater resources. Agriculture has historically been the mainstay of the Guyanese economy. And we see agriculture continuing to be one of the anchors of the non-oil economy going forward. So there are the historically important sectors like sugar and rice.
Yes.
So we've always been a big rice and sugar producer.
And I saw you helping out with rice across the region recently.
Well, that's correct. So you know that we've been a big producer of rice for a long time. But what we're doing now is we're diversifying into other agriculture, other crops. So for example, we've opened up a whole new area that is under cultivation by private investors in corn and soybean. Our neighbors in Brazil have been growing corn and soybean for a very long time, but we haven't historically been growing corn and soybean. The climatic conditions are very similar, almost identical. The soil conditions are very similar, not completely identical, but very similar. And so all of the conditions really are conducive. What we did was we brought in some Brazilian technology, Brazilian expertise. We're now growing corn and soybean, and we anticipate that in the near future we're going to be self-sufficient in corn and soybean. Taking that one step forward, corn and soybean are critical inputs into the production of animal feed. And so that's also critical for the competitiveness of our livestock industry, like like poultry meat, etc. Where historically here again we've imported things like animal feed, we'll be able to produce and meet all of our domestic requirements for animal feed, and therefore in things like poultry meat, etc. So agriculture is going to be a major part of the non-oil economy. Tourism. Now, of course, I'm speaking to a Jamaican audience, so I'm going to be a little bit careful about how I choose my words about tourism. Obviously, Guyana has historically never had a tourism industry in the way that Jamaica and Barbados and so on, the big tourist islands in the Caribbean have had. We haven't. But we do have a number of unique characteristics that present us with opportunities in the tourism sector. So for example, we have a vast, pristine rainforest.
Yes, you do.
We have some of the most spectacular waterfalls in the world. The steepest single drop waterfall in the world is the Kaichor waterfall. And it's in Guyana. Now, historically, we haven't had a big tourist industry because of issues of connectivity. There weren't that many airlines coming to Guyana. The numbers of visitors into Guyana wasn't really...
That is about to change.
That's changing dramatically. And so, mainly because of airlift and room capacity, etc., historically tourism hasn't really been, as big, nearly as big as it is, say, in Jamaica or in Barbados. Now, we have so many major international airlines coming to Guyana. We have American Airlines with services from Miami to New York. We have JetBlue. We have United. We have, obviously, Caribbean Airlines has been coming for a very long time. We have Copa. We have Suriname Airways. We have British Airways. And a number of others who are actively looking at introducing Guyana to their route maps. And so airlift capacity into Guyana is growing remarkably as well. Yes. And room capacity is growing, right? This year alone, we will open between 5 to 8 internationally branded hotels, adding about 1,500 internationally branded hotel rooms.
And we're in the Pegasus, which went up very quickly.
You're in the Pegasus, you're not far away from the Marriott. Exactly. There's a Ramada. There are other Marriotts under construction, including one at the airport. There are Hiltons, Hyatt Regency. There's a Best Western that just opened recently, just a few weeks ago, actually. So there's a vast build-out of hotel assets, recognizing the demand for room capacity in Guyana. And so the tourism sector is poised for a rapid takeoff as well. And so, I mentioned other minerals, I mentioned agriculture, tourism, services, of course, logistics, transport, financial services, construction services, medical and health tourism.
Yes,
we're building out world-class hospitals.
And of course, sports, because you talk about cricket.
Well, we just hosted a phenomenal cricket tournament. We're going to be hosting the Global Super League very soon.
Exactly, I saw that.
And when we host a big international cricket match, you can't get rooms in Guyana. You can't get rooms. If you don't book several months in advance, you can't get a room. And so this build out of hotels is largely connected to
Minister,
that.
I know you're very busy. And
So I guess if I
run.
can pull all of the strands of that together, I guess the point that I'm making really is that we already have a number of, this isn't an economy where we are only producing oil. We have a significant gold and bauxite industry, we have a significant agricultural sector, we have a significant tourism sector. So there's a lot going on in Guyana outside of oil. But of course, oil is a big headline and is a big story, and that dominates and captures people's attention. But there's a lot of stuff going on in Guyana outside of oil that we're incredibly excited about too.
Minister, I know you have to run, but I want to put this on the table. So Jamaica has built out, largely through the IMF program, a model for the IMF to use in other countries. Wasn't their intention, but that model has gone worldwide. And so the model has helped Jamaica to restructure their economy for growth. You, on the other hand, are doing it the opposite way. You've built from ground up. Do you believe you are building a model that other countries in the world will have to look at, document, and say this is the roadmap if we are in problems for growth? If we find some resource like oil, this is how we manage it. Do you believe that model that you're building out?
Let me say first of all that we are modest people in Guyana. So we wouldn't be so bold as to suggest that we are the model for the rest of the world to study and emulate. We ourselves have studied what everybody else has done. And in all of the other examples, one sees things that are worthy of emulation, and one sees things that are worthy of avoidance. There are some things that worked, and there are some things that did not work. And so we, every day in everything that we do, we look around the world at the collection of global experience to see what it is that we can use as a wheel that was already invented that we need not reinvent, what it is that we can emulate or replicate, and what it is that we should avoid because it didn't work very well, and experience suggests that it's not going to work in Guyana. We have done that ourselves, and what we have done has benefited from the accumulation of global experience. I believe that we have done so successfully, and I believe that the results speak for themselves. Whether others wish to use us as an example or a model or not is a decision that everybody will have to make in their own due course. But our aspiration is to do this right and to do it well so that we can be a model that is replicable if others would like to replicate that example.
Absolutely. Couldn't have said it better, Minister. I don't want to hold you up too much longer.
Neilson, thanks a lot.
There's so much more to talk about. But congratulations on the work you've been doing, and we're watching. And
thank you very much.
We want to share in the growth of
Thank
Guyana.
you very much. Do have a good conference and do have a good stay in Guyana too.
Absolutely.